Good day viewers, and welcome to this course. In this tutorial we are going to be looking at how you can set up your Django um, website and get it running, how you can set up your Django application. Now before we begin, let's have a quick introduction. Django is built on Python, is a Python framework. So if you are going to be doing Django, you have to have Python and have a knowledge of Python. If so, to get started, you need to install Python in your system. If you don't have Python already installed, what you can do is to go to python.org and go to downloads and download the latest version of Python into your system. So when you have installed Python, you can now go ahead and set up your Django. So to do that, let's go to our command prompt. So I go to my screen here on my desktop, I go to the search bar and I type CMD. When I type CMD, it brings out the command prompt for me. Then I can go ahead and open the command prompt. So we are going to be starting with our command prompt. Alright, I think I want to zoom this a little bit if I can do that. Okay, so what I can do is so here are my command prompt. Okay, let me minimize this. I just want to make it bold for you to see what I'm doing here. Alright, alright, so I'm here on my desktop, my command prompt. Now you have to choose a location where your project will be located. For me, I'm going to use a desktop and I'll say CD to desktop. And on my desktop, I'm going to create a folder using the make directly mkdir command to make directly. I'm going to call it tutorial. Okay, then we'll go into the folder tutorial. Now in a tutorial, the first thing first that we have to do is to create a virtual environment because Django has to be run in a virtual environment. To do that, we are going to say Python dash m pip install virtual env. So I'm going to install the virtual environment in this project. So let's wait and get it installed. Alright, our virtual environment has been installed successfully. So what we are going to do right now is to create the virtual environment. And to do that, we are going to use the command virtual env, and I want to call it env. Alright, so um, okay, okay, I think I needed to do something like Python dash m virtual env, then give it a name env. So that will create a virtual environment for us with the name env. Alright, our virtual environment has been created successfully. So what we can do now is to go ahead and activate our virtual environment. To activate our virtual environment on a Windows, we are going to use the command env, which is the name of the virtual environment that we created, followed by a backward slash, then scripts, then followed by a backward slash activate. Alright. Now if you're on a Mac operating system, you are going to do something like source forward slash source, then your env forward slash bin forward slash activate. Alright, so that's activate if you're on a Mac operating system. Alright, now that we have activated our virtual environment, we can go ahead and download our Python, our Django. So to download Django, we'll say Python, going to use Python dash m pip install Django. So the command is python dash m pip install Django to install Django in our virtual environment that we just created. And installation is ongoing, and in a couple of seconds it will be done installing. Alright, now we have our Django installed. I will go ahead and open the folder in my text editor. For this tutorial, I'm using the Visual Studio Code, so I'm going to say code dot. Now open this folder in my Visual Studio Code. Alright, we have our Visual Studio Code open right now, and we can see the EMP that we created, the virtual environment. Now let's go ahead and open our terminal. I'll click on the three dots on the top left corner of the code editor and select terminal, then select new terminal. To open our terminal, and I think I want to go ahead and use command prompt here in my terminal. Alright, so we can see that our virtual environment is still activated. So here now what we are going to do, since we have Django already installed, we are going to create a project by using the command Django admin. The command is Django admin, Django-admin, start project. Then we'll give it a name. I'll call it a tutorial. Then followed by a period, a dot. This will ensure that Django doesn't create extra files, extra folders for us. So let's go ahead and create project. So on the door we have our project created, and we have this folder created and a manage.py file here. If we open this, we are going to see some files in here. We have the settings of UI file where we set our apps, and we have the urls.py file that handles our urls, and we have the manage.py file that helps us to run Django commands. So now that we have created the project, let's go ahead and spin up the server. We can say manage python manage.py, python manage.py run server to spin up our server. Alright, we have our server up and running. Let's go ahead and open this page and see what it looks like. Alright, when you have this showing on your screen, successfully created the project. So what we are going to do, we are going to create our own page, our own custom page. So let's go back to our code editor, and inside of our urls.py file, let us create some views. Um, Alright, so in this file, in the urls.py file, this file handles our URLs. It enables us to view our lives on the browser. So to go ahead, what I would like to do, first of all, create an app and set it up from where we can create our pages and view them. So let's terminate the server using Ctrl C. Let me terminate the server, and let's create an app. So we are going to use the command python manage.py, python manage.py, and we are going to say start app, and let's call the app main. Alright, so python manage.py start app, and I'd like to call the app main. So let's go ahead and create the app. So immediately we do that, we have the app here created for us, and this is the app created for us. We have the apps of UI file, we have the models of UI file. For our database models, we have the views of UI file right here. So what we're gonna do right now, let's go ahead and create an extra file. Let's call it urls.py file. Let's create a file urls.py file. Okay, so we have that created for us. And one more thing to do, let's go ahead and tell Django that we have just created an app that we wanted to recognize this app. So inside of our settings of UI file, we'll go down to the installed apps, and we are going to add this app that we have created. So the name of our app is main. So we're going to say main. But then if we go to this main, we go into the apps of UI file. We have a configuration here as main config. So let me copy that. We are going back to our settings of UI file. We are going to say go to the app main, locate the apps file, and take the configuration here. Alright, so having done this, we can go ahead and use this our app to create apps and create views. So when we do that, Django is going to recognize that we have an app created, and it's going to allow us to create views. But before we do that, I would like us to create an install folder. Go down to the root of your directory and create a folder, and let's name it templates. Let's name it templates. Then to have this running, let's inside of our settings of UI file, we go to templates and add a directory to this template. Now the directory, if you see, um, if you look at this folder, this templates folder is on the same level with all the other the project files. So it's in the base directory. So we're going to say the inside of the directory, we're going to say go to the base directory and locate the templates folder. Alright, this tells Django the location of this folder, so we can create templates inside of this templates folder. So let's go ahead and save this file and close it. We are done here. We are done here. Okay. Now inside of the templates, let's create a simple template. Let's call it a home page. Let's create a home.html file. Home.html, and let's render a simple um, tag here. Simple HTML tag. Alright, let's just call this tutorial. Let's give a title, tutorial, and let's render simple home page. Alright, okay, so inside of our main folder, our app, let's go to the views and let's create a view for our home page. So we're gonna use the keyword def, or calling it home, okay, and we are going to return, we're going to render it. Then we have to make an import here. Okay. We have a necessary import from Django.shortcuts import render, which is what we are using here already. So we have this up and running. We have created a view. After creating a view, we have to go into a URLs of file for this main app, and we are going to create the URL. So we have to make an import from Django.urls import paths, right? Yeah, so this is paths, not path, right? So we're going to delete this. Alright, so we are going to import the views function, yeah, the views file. Then we are going to say URLs URL patterns. We create the patterns, and then we create the paths to the home function, and this is going to be the home. That is why we have the empty string here. Now this is not going to work. If we try to do this, it's not going to work. First of all, we have to go into our root directory, go into our tutorial directory, into the URLs of Wi-Fi, and we are going to include add an import here. So from Django.urls import paths, and we add the include function. And here in our paths, we are going to tell Django to look for the app that we created and match every route that we created here. So this will basically tell Django that instead of loading the URLs from this file, we should go to our main app and match all the URLs in the main app. So this is going to work right now. If we save this and spin up our server, we should be able to see our page working. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. I don't know why this file is giving me the squiggly lines, the error lines, but I think we are good to go. We shouldn't be having a problem here. Alright, so let's get our server up and running, and we can say python-py run server. I think I forgot to add the curly brace here, to add the parentheses, close the parentheses. So we have our server up and running. We can refresh our page to see the file that we just created. So this is the home page we just created. Now I would like to add another page here right now. So inside of our templates, let's add another template. Um, I would like to call it about. So let's add an about the HTML file here. Let's find out a simple H1 tag that says about page. Go ahead and save it. Then in our URLs of Wi-Fi, we are going to create the URL. First of all, let's create the view. To create a view, we're basically going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to say def about, then we pass in a request object, and return the rent function passing a request and the page name. So this is the page name. Then inside of our URL of Wi-Fi, we are going to include the URL. So to do that, like we did before, but and you can guess it, about / views dot about, and we give it a name about. So this is the route of the page. Get the page at / about. Then the function that is rendering it is the about function, and you can see here that it is a function named about that receives a request object and returns a HTTPS response object. Alright, then the name, the alias is about, so we can reference the file or the page using the name about. So if we go on to our browser and refresh, we can refresh this and go to our about page. So here in our search bar, we can go to the about page, and we should see about page right here. So this is the way you create your page. You have successfully created your Django application, created 2 pages. So this is a wrap for this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe to our channel. In the next video, we'll look into more concepts. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. See you in the next video.